SCP-2193. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. The Artificial Intelligence Applications Division, AIAD, is to monitor the Foundation database for instances of SCP-2193-1. The instances are to be logged and removed, and the holding sites, if applicable, personnel will require amnestic therapy. Provisional Site, Site 51 and Observation Site are to be exempted from this procedure, in order to facilitate observation of the phenomena. Contact with these sites at any level, whether through in-person visits, or simply phone/email communication, is restricted, to prevent further contamination of mission-critical sites. Ttt Description. SCP-2193-1 is an infohazardous anomaly affecting the documentation for items and entities in the Foundation database. It often appears in the object's special containment procedures or addenda, and references an operation referred to as the monthly termination of Class D personnel. No evidence for the initial adoption or implementation of such a policy exists in any Foundation records, as verified by a RASA investigation into all prior O5/administrator mandates and STCAT resolutions. SCP-2193-1 is automatically inserted into a random digital SCP slot at irregular intervals. The method by which it is generated is unknown. Individuals who are exposed to SCP-2193-1 are subjected to a mimetic effect, wherein they fully believe the monthly termination of Class D personnel to be a valid Foundation operation. This belief can be easily spread through any and all forms of communication solely by containing the phrase monthly termination. Uninfected personnel that possess doubt or suspicion are able to be overcome with simple rhetoric supporting the policy. The infected continue to operate as if SCP-2193 has always been a Foundation-held policy, and there is a noted lack of cognitive dissonance when presented with conflicting information. Aside from the excessive expenditure of Class D personnel, sites and individuals infected are able to perform their duties exceptionally, and without undue complications. The first known document to host SCP-2193-1, SCP, has been removed from the database, and is undergoing review from the Foundation Counter-Conceptual Division. No internal documentation or instructions exist that detail the actual termination process. Regardless, infected individuals and departments operate and terminate Class D personnel in a uniform manner. Remote observation of sites and, as well as security footage from affected sites prior to SCP-2193's discovery have revealed the monthly termination process. On the final day of the month, testing is suspended on any SCPs which would involve Class D testing. Approximately 1/3 of the site's resident Class D population will stand facing their cell doors. 2. A sufficient detachment of security personnel will arrive to escort the Class D in a single file line throughout the facility. Though the guards will be armed, no restraints are placed on the Class D, researchers, Level 0, and other personnel not directly involved in the process will avoid the path the officers/Class D follow. This is perfectly choreographed. Despite the lack of planning/forewarning, the Class D will be led to a point outside the facility, and taken to an area that is not covered by surveillance systems. 3. Subdermal tracking implants on the Class D cease function. The security guards return to the facility. The officers will claim to have terminated the Class D via their sidearms. 4. Recovery. SCP-2193 was discovered on October 31, 1994, by AIAD Project, Corinthian, aka Glaken, after its initial upload to Site 17. The site was undergoing an SCP-2193 event, which the AI observed through the surveillance system. It attempted to contact then-Site Director J.O., as the AI interpreted the procedure as illogical, and without precedent. Its communications were disregarded. The AI correctly deduced the presence of a mimetic effect. It began the process of removing SCP-2193-1 throughout the site's backup digital files, as well as every entry of the main database accessible by Site 17 personnel. It completed the process before the D-Class had been removed from their cells, and disabled the door's electronic locks. Dietrich M. Lurk was contacted by Site 17 Security Chief, who requested his assistance in disabling the AI's system override. Lurk investigated the situation, and finding the AI to be acting in accordance standard principles, instead alerted MTF 810, see no evil. Site 17, along with 12 other sites had to be quarantined, with their corresponding records wiped of SCP-2193-1. Provisional Site and Observation Site were exempted for testing purposes. Addendum, Incident Log 2193/forward, on January 31, 1999 at 1:30, Provisional Site underwent an SCP-2193 event. During the transport of Class D, behavioral changes were noted in both the detainees and the guards. The Class D repeatedly expressed concern over their fate, while the guards apologized profusely. The following is an excerpt taken from Agent Issen's headcam as the event reached its conclusion. 1 hour 59 minutes and 23 seconds, the group approaches a rounded clearing in the woods 2 kilometers south of the site. 2 hours 1 minute and 46 seconds, the Class D continue directly towards the clearing's center. The guards branch out, and form a ring around the group. This formation is congruous with previous observations. 2 hours 4 minutes and 32 seconds, the guards around the Class D's perimeter turn away from the group and obscure their head cams, excluding Agent Issen. Agent Issen, indecipherable due to sudden interference, presumably not. Again, 2 hours 5 minutes and 5 seconds, D-1920 lifts vertically, and hovers in place 0.3 meters off the ground. 2 hours 5 minutes and 9 seconds, D-1920 continues upward, at an estimated speed of 35,000 km/h/d-1823 begins to hover, 2 hours 5 minutes and 12 seconds to 2 hours 6 minutes and 58 seconds, this process repeats for each present Class D.5. They are taken individually, 2 hours 6 minutes and 58 seconds, Agent Issen watches the final Class D depart, and fixates on the full moon. 2 hours 7 minutes and 33 seconds, the moon appears to blink. 0.6, 2 hours 7 minutes and 35 seconds, Agent Issen begins to run. In the background, the other guards can be seen remaining in their position. 2 hours 7 minutes and 39 seconds, Agent Issen is lifted in a manner similar to the Class D. 2 hours 7 minutes and 41 seconds, camera feed cuts as the agent reaches the stratosphere. Afterward, under questioning, the guards asserted that Agent Issen had been attacked by the Class D, and that he had been killed in the resulting altercation. Footnotes: 1 personnel are to be reminded that there is no Site 5, 2 affected Class D are fully compliant and cooperative throughout the entirety of the process. It should be noted that the affected Class D will still verbally assault and threaten nearby personnel. 3. Hidden cameras sewn into the guards' uniforms have been intentionally obscured, including in cases where they have no foreknowledge its existence. 4. To date, the officers' firearms have been returned without a single discharged round. 5. Neither provisional site, nor orbital assets were able to view this phenomena, despite the fact that the area was covered by the surveillance systems of each. 6. Personnel stationed at Lunar Area 32 reported no corresponding abnormalities at this time. Smiley face.